They thought I wouldn't fight back. They assumed I was just a retired widower, living alone on a piece of quiet Texas lakeside property that had been in my family for over 3 generations. What the Homeowners Association didn't realize was that this land held more than just sentimental value. It held secrets, legal traps, and most importantly, deadly seasonal rhythm they had completely ignored. My name is John Mercer. I'm 68 years old and I live about 20 miles east of Austin. It's on a stretch of land that borders what used to be a quiet reservoir fed by the San Gabriel River. My grandfather bought this land after World War II. My father expanded the property over the years. After my wife passed in 2019, I found peace tending to the land, fishing off the dock, and living in the cabin I'd personally renovated with my own 2 hands. It was solitude, peace, and legacy, all wrapped in one. Then the HOA came. It started with a knock on the door. In the fall of 2023, a well-dressed man named Richard Calloway introduced himself as a board member of the local Lakeside Trails Homeowners Association. He smiled a lot, talked fast, and tried to explain how my land had accidentally been rezoned due to a clerical error when the county updated floodplain maps. Somehow, this error gave them the green light to approve a massive 66-unit luxury condo development right on my land. You'll be well compensated, Mr. Mercer, Richard said, with that oily grin. We've already begun preliminary grading. The value of your land will go through the roof. I didn't sign a thing. But they didn't wait for permission. Within 3 weeks, bulldozers were carving paths through my pecan grove. Concrete was poured, water lines were drilled. The quiet sound of cicadas and lake water lapping against. The shore was replaced by jackhammers and shouting construction crews. I went to the county office. I hired a lawyer. We sent cease and desist orders. The HOA simply redirected everything through a holding company and pushed forward. You can sue us, they said in court, but the condos are already up. What's done is done. But here's the thing. They never asked why my land was so cheap in the first place. They never looked at the Army Corps of Engineers map from 1974 or the flash flood. History logged every year since. I guess they didn't know the stories of when the lake rose 20 feet in an afternoon, sweeping away barns, trees, and once tragically, an entire fishing cabin belonging to my uncle. They were about to find out. See, flood season in our area hits around late April, and while most years it just makes the fields soggy and the catfish jump. Every 5 to 10 years we get a black water year when the reservoir's upstream overflow. The gates at the dam are forced open. I had a feeling 2025 would be one of those years. The rainfall through February and March had been relentless. Soil was saturated, and runoff was already clogging culverts that hadn't seen water in years. So, I stopped fighting in court. I stopped sending letters. When they handed me the last eviction notice for trespassing on HOA property, I smiled and walked back to my cabin. Then I waited. By early May, the lake had already crept about 20 feet beyond its normal edge. The condos, hastily built without proper elevation or reinforced drainage, were sitting right in the danger zone. I could see the residents arriving, smiling as they unloaded furniture into their new luxury lakeside homes. Some even waved to me across the fence, mistaking me for a groundskeeper. They had no idea what was coming. On May 14th, it started raining hard. Sheets of water hammered the area for 3 straight days. The dam upstream reached its emergency threshold, and I knew what would happen next. I parked my old Ford truck on higher ground and walked down to the shoreline just as the emergency sirens went off in the distance. Asterisk. Then came the flood. Water rushed in like a freight train. The narrow streets between the condos turned into rivers within an hour. Landscaping stones floated like corks. I saw a brand new Lexus SUV get lifted off its tires and drift into someone's porch. People screamed. Alarms went off. To block the water with sandbags, it was laughable. By sunset, over half of the condos were knee-deep in brown, rushing water. Foundations began to crack, sewage backed up. Power lines sparked and popped. That night, the residents were evacuated. By boat. The next morning, the HOA finally called me. Richard's voice trembled. Mr. Mercer, We didn't know the flood zone extended that far. The damage is catastrophic. We need your help. Your land was the only part elevated enough to escape the worst of it. I let the silence hang for a moment, then said, "You mean my land? The one you claimed I was trespassing on?" He stammered. We can work something out." I laughed. Nature already handled it. The county eventually condemned the entire condo development as unsafe. Mold, erosion, and irreparable damage made it impossible to salvage. HOA went bankrupt within months, facing multiple lawsuits from homeowners and insurance companies. Richard resigned. The holding company dissolved. As for me, I'm still here, still fishing off the dock. The cabins are gone, but my cabin still stands, built on the only elevated ridge on this side of the lake. I'm rebuilding the pecan grove, slowly. They tried to steal my land with paperwork and arrogance. But out here, nature always gets the final say. And when you live close to it long enough, you learn if you're patient, it'll take care of things in its own time. Asterisk.